Hello, my beautiful warriors, and welcome back to the Autoimmune Recovery Room. Today we're diving into a powerful and yet often overlooked connection, the link between unresolved trauma, stress, and cardiovascular disease. We'll also explore how behavioral factors like forgiveness can protect your heart, literally, and why understanding the most extreme symptoms of cardiovascular disease might just save a life. This is about healing, not just emotionally, but physically. So let's walk through this together. However, before we dive in, I'm Diana Carroll, and this video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or pharmaceutical guidance. Always, always consult your healthcare provider for any health concerns. So we're going to talk about unresolved trauma and the heart, the silent threat. First, let's talk about trauma. Unresolved trauma isn't just an emotional burden. It physically changes how the body functions, especially how the heart and blood vessels operate. When trauma isn't healed, the body can stay stuck in a state of chronic stress known as fight, flight, or freeze. This causes constantly elevated cortisol levels, your main stress hormone, increased heart rate and blood pressure, worsening inflammation inside blood vessels, higher risk of plaque buildup in arteries. Studies have shown that people with a history of childhood trauma, neglect, or major life-threatening events have a much higher risk of developing heart disease later in life, even decades afterward. Warriors, unhealed pain can literally break the heart. Next, we're going to talk about chronic stress and cardiovascular health, the daily damage. Even without major trauma, daily unmanaged stress can wreak havoc on the heart. When stress is ongoing, it leads to persistently high blood pressure, hypertension, elevated cholesterol and triglycerides, abnormal heart rhythms, poor blood sugar control, increasing diabetes risk, another heart disease trigger, suppressed immune function, making healing harder. Over time, this strain on the cardiovascular system causes damage to the arteries, increases the overload on the heart, and raises the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure. Stress isn't just emotional, it's physiological. It's a heavy backpack that your heart has to carry every single day until it just can't anymore. Next, we're going to talk about behavioral factors, the healing power of forgiveness. Here's some good news. Certain behaviors can lighten the load, and forgiveness is the one of the most powerful. Research shows that people who practice forgiveness, whether forgiving others or themselves, tend to have lower blood sugar pressure, reduced heart rate, less inflammation throughout the body, better cholesterol profiles, stronger immune function. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay. It was not okay. It's about releasing yourself from the toxic grip of anger, resentment, and chronic stress. Forgiveness frees your nervous system, and forgiveness frees your heart. The most extreme symptoms of cardiovascular disease and the red flags that you must know. I also want to be very clear about the most serious signs that cardiovascular disease is progressing, because sometimes the first symptoms could be the last. So here's what to watch for. Chest pains or tightness, especially during exertion. Shortness of breath, even at rest. Swelling in the legs, ankles, or feet. It's fluid buildup. Rapid, irregular heartbeats. Arrhythmias. Sudden, severe fatigue. Not just tiredness. Pain radiating to the arm, jaw, or the back. Sudden dizziness, fainting, or weakness. Cold sweats, nausea, or lightheadedness. My loves, if you experience these symptoms, it's urgent. Please seek immediate medical care, and please don't wait. Number 5, final reflections, empowering your heart through healing. Here's the bottom line. Unhealed trauma, chronic stress, and unresolved emotional wounds are not just emotional issues. They are cardiovascular issues. But you are not powerless. By addressing emotional healing, learning to manage stress, practicing forgiveness, and listening to your body's signals, you can support your heart's health in profound ways. You are not broken. You are healing, and your heart deserves the healing too. I want to add some personal reflections. I'm going to lay my heart bare. I've carried a weight most of my life. Childhood traumas, harsh words, and mistakes I tried to forget. I pushed them under the rug, the proverbial rug, just to survive, to prove the voices wrong, to building something meaningful from my pain. But no matter what I achieved, I could still hear the whispers. You're not enough. You're not enough. Okay, so you did that. It's no big deal. but I had the darkest skin in my family. There were always comments that cut deep. I thought I had forgotten those who hurt me. I thought my accomplishments were proof that I had forgiven myself. But what I really did was bury it all, hoping it would just disappear. The truth, what's buried and unaddressed will eventually rise to the surface. It may not speak with words, but the body will speak for it. Of the 9 autoimmune diseases I now live with, I can clearly trace 3 to unresolved pain from my past. Sarcoidosis, a disease attacking my heart and nearly taking my life 3 times. Sjogren's syndrome, drying my eyes, which was once filled with silent tears. Hypopigmentation. It's a condition that lightens the skin. It fades. It lightens the skin. I once wished it looked different, hoping that maybe then they'd love me. All the tears I cried over my skin color, over not being enough, over not being seen or accepted, they were never truly forgotten. My body remembered, and it reminds me still to this day. Please, if you are living with buried wounds, pain from your past, harsh words you've accepted as truth, forgiveness you've withheld from others, and more importantly, from yourself, I urge you, begin the healing process now. Don't wait. Please don't bury it. And if you've buried it, start digging it up. This is a real, undeniable connection between the heart and the brain. And if we don't speak our pain, our body will speak it for us. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is freedom for your heart, for your life, you are worth that freedom. Nothing but the goodness of God can help you with this. If today's message resonated with you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you love. When you do, you never know who you will help, because autoimmune warriors are not alone in dealing with emotional healing, learning to manage stress, and the need to practice forgiveness. I've heard, and maybe you have as well, I just can never forgive him or her for what they have done. But the million, maybe billion-dollar question is, whose heart is carrying the weight of that person of unforgiveness? An easy task? Maybe not. However, the cost of inaction is far greater than the effort to change. And let me know in the comments what small act of forgiveness for yourself, for others, more importantly, for yourself, are you willing to offer your heart today? because that's where it's laying, right here. We think we pushed it under a rug, but the heart is right here. Realizing that sometimes the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. I wish I hadn't have done that. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind to yourself, and keep walking your healing path. I'm so proud of you. I'm sending you blessings and much love. Believe me when I tell you, bruised wings can still fly. God bless.